Welcome to another in-house review of our watches, where I'll walk through all the specifications of the watch, as well as any relevant backstory pertaining to the watch. This one in particular is especially exciting to discuss today, as this year in 2025, we celebrate our 10-year anniversary. And this video is about the reissue of the original watch that launched the Jack Mason brand, the Pursuit Pilot. Back in 2015, when I was deciding on the watch that was going to be the first in our collection, I knew that it had to be an instant classic icon and that was recognizable and memorable. To me, the brand that I drew the most inspiration from was IWC. Their classic Flieger-style pilot watches were always striking to me, and I loved the hassle-free nature about it. It was bold, masculine, and had a robust personality to it that I felt was appropriate for the first watch in Jack Mason. For the reissue of the Pursuit Pilot, we launched a set of 3 colorways, plus a special anniversary edition that's very exciting to talk about. But before we get into all that, I feel that it's important to quickly take a look at the original Pursuit and provide a quick rundown of the specs so that you have context in how far we have come as a brand in the last 10 years. The first Pursuit was 42mm in case size with a lug-to-lug of about 50mm. It also carried a thickness of about 13.5mm that was driven by the modest Miyota 821A movement, which is no longer even produced by Miyota. The crystal was sapphire, and the dial had BGW9 lume that was pad printed and probably wasn't enough for today's enthusiast standards. Despite the pedestrian specs on this first iteration of the Pursuit, the design and overall feel of the watch was one that would help launch Jack Mason and remain in the catalog for years to come, until it was eventually discontinued as the brand evolved. Now fast forwarding to 2025, our 10th year in business, it almost felt obligatory to reissue the Pursuit, but completely rebuilt to the Jack Mason standard today. If you've been following us the last several years, you'll know that we have evolved as a brand and repositioned ourselves to design and manufacture higher grade watches specifically catered towards the enthusiast and/or avid collector. So if there's one watch that encapsulates the story of our humble beginnings and displays who we are today, it's the Pursuit Pilot. Let's start with the style in our permanent collection. These will all come in steel in both the case and bracelet. It measures 39mm in size with a lug-to-lug of 46mm. The thickness is now 11.8mm, which tops off all the dimensions to make it a great modern everyday watch. The finishing we use today is a far cry from our early days, as the transition between brushed and polished surfaces are crisp and defined. The tops of the lugs have a beautiful radial brushing technique that contrasts nicely with the horizontally brushed sides and split with a clean, polished chamfer. The bezel also features 3 different finishes, as the top has a sunburst brushed effect that transitions into a polished surface, then wraps underneath to a radial brushed finish. The new Pursuits now feature La Joux-Perret G101 movements, which we further regulate to ±5 seconds of accuracy. The La Joux-Perret movements are becoming standard for our watches, as they offer a different value proposition than the SW200. The 6 to 8 hours of power reserve that comes standard with the G100 series is a feature you almost didn't know you needed until you had it. This means you can take your watch off on a Friday, rotate a few other watches in during the weekend, and come back to it on Monday with the watch still running. For an added benefit to the movement, we installed a soft iron cage around the movement, making it anti-magnetic to well above the ISO standard of 4800 AM or 60 Gauss. This will ensure your watch is safe in most environments you come across on a daily basis and maintain that accuracy. As we move to the dial, you'll notice that the original design has been kept mostly intact. However, there was a major shift in execution. Unlike the original version, which was printed lume, the new dials now feature Lumicast markings, which are 3-dimensionally molded forms made out of superluminova. In addition, we have implemented a new standard of superluminova, grade X2. This is the newest and highest grade of lume at the time of this recording that has performance upgrades over 50% than X1 grade. When you combine this new grade with the fact that it's in the form of Lumicast, the new Pursuit dial provides a long-lasting glow that will keep you informed all through the night. The closed case back will feature our newest design that has prominent markings that are nicely polished and legible with additional information etched around the perimeter. The bracelet has an all-brushed finish with small polished chamfers to maintain visual continuity from the case. These are quick-release bracelets, which make swapping attachments a breeze. The adjustable links will have screw pins in them for easy sizing on your own. I'll also take this opportunity to mention that if you plan on sizing the bracelet on your own, I highly recommend a small screwdriver that has a fat grip on it. This allows for better gripping and creates higher torque, so any fussy screws are easily removed. I'll link the tool in the description below. The Pursuit also features our popular toolless micro-adjusting clasp that has become a crowd favorite due to its generous amount of adjustability and slim profile when it's in the closed position. Finally, to top things off, all the watches are finished with the hardness coating to help deter those minor scratches from daily wear. Now, let's talk about the special anniversary edition of the Pursuit Pilot. Now, I do have to note that this edition will only be produced in 2025 as a year-long celebration of the brand. The dimensions are going to be exactly the same as the steel version, which are 39mm in size, 20mm lug width, and 11.8 in thickness. The key difference with the anniversary edition is that the case and bracelet are made in grade 2 titanium that is also finished off with the hardness coating, giving it that same benefit of added protection as its steel counterpart. Inside lies the Le Joux G101, which is a no-date movement that allows for a clean, symmetrical dial design without the fuss of a date. The dial on the anniversary editions feature an Easter egg at the 10 o'clock, which is indicated by an X as a nod to our anniversary. In addition, the X glows a different color to further emphasize the unique nature of this watch. The dial here also features Lumicast markings in X2 grade. However, unlike the steel versions, this one includes both indices and Arabics in Lumicast. The steel version only has the indices in Lumicast, and the Arabics are a thick print. Of course, we wanted to add a little more spice in the anniversary edition, making the overall glow a little extra bright. The Lumicast here is made in light old radium with matching beige printed details around the dial for an overall warmth to the design. I feel that the warm tones of titanium tie in nicely with the warm color tones of beige details on the dial. It's like wearing a tan leather strap to match your shoes or belt without actually wearing a tan leather strap. The case back will have a unique marking indicating the anniversary special edition. While this is not a numbered edition, it will be limited in production to this year in 2025. The Pursuit Pilot was a watch that was meant to be redesigned and reshared with our customers. It encapsulates 10 years of progression for Jack Mason. It's a celebration of sorts, but also a forced checkpoint to take a moment and recognize our beginnings. It's a symbol for our customers, family, and friends who have supported us all along the way. It represents resilience, maturity, and at the same time, it represents an open door into more possibilities. As always, please give us a follow on our YouTube channel and share your thoughts in the comments section below. If you'd like to hear more thoughts about the brand from our community, I encourage you to join our Facebook group. This is a group that we moderate and a place where we like to share insider information on new and upcoming projects. We hope you enjoyed the video and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, y'all.